to set that hook, the jig's going to rotate. So with the angle, it's going to drive it right up into that lip.
Top speed as fast as you can crank it with a 15-mile-an-hour east wind in your face.
And that's where you're going to find all these flatfish. There's all those troughs right on the edges of the sandbars.
If people want to put themselves in that dangerous situation, let them. Don't follow them. If you're uncomfortable, stick to your guns. Don't do it.
Yeah. 90% of everything in their stomach content is gonna be mussels.
But these are the same ones I target like world-class tarpon with when I go on vacation.
You want to put that bait on so a lot of the bait is stacked up on the shaft of the hook, and a lot of that hook is exposed with the bait laying up by the shaft of the hook.
Man, you go deep when you're talking rods. I love it.
But if I'm going to go for big fish, I've learned to throw bigger plugs, and they'll produce. I mean.
All right. Hello and welcome to Fat Dad Fishing Show. My name is Rich, and tonight's going to be a bit of a different one. What you don't see behind the scenes right now is our guest is not here yet for the bulk of the show. However, we do have two guests here for an important topic that we wanted to talk about. So we're trying to see if Todd can make it in. You know, he's probably out on the water right now fishing. We'll see. But if not, we've got plenty that we can talk about and plenty that we can go through. We might have to reach out and bring John, the mayor, on, even though it's his night off, make him jump on here as well. But tonight is going to be a good one. Let me bring on co-host Ed, owner of Captain Hank's Tackle. How you doing, Ed?
I am doing well tonight. Another, Tuesday night, but hey, good to be out here. Good to be getting back into the swing of things. So.
Yeah, it's, swing of things for as far as the live stream and everything, different night than usual. I had a work dinner last night that I could not miss. But in the spirit of fishing, I did have the halibut for dinner. So at least I had fish. But tonight we're supposed to talk to Todd Grubbs from Fishing Grubbs on YouTube. Again, we'll see if he's able to make it on. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but we'll figure it out like we always do. But before that, I wanted to go back to a topic that we brought up last week in what was dubbed the emergency press conference live stream, when we were talking about the just released, or actually in the process of being released, New Jersey regulations for flounder, sea bass, and porgy. And at the very end of it, did mention a benefit fishing tournament that wanted people to be aware of. It's called Amelia's Anglers, and we have Amelia's parents to bring on stream. We have Marcial and Maggie Quiros. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hey guys.
Good. Hi, how you doing?
Welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I did the best I could on short notice last week, trying to explain exactly what was going on, what the tournament was about. I got a few things incorrect, but I think I got the most important things correct. And
you did good.
Well, the most important part is Amelia, right? So I think I got that portion right. And quite frankly, when I was watching the other stream where I got the initial information, that was really the part that I focused on, because I just figured I don't even care what the tournament is. I'm just going to join it anyway. So I probably should have done a little bit better research, but I did, in my own defense, I did plan on having more time between that meeting that we were on up until we went live and when we went live. But the meeting actually extended an hour into the live stream, so we had zero break in between. So with that, wanted to see if you would introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what the Amelia's Anglers initiative is right now.
Well, thanks again for having us too. This is an honor to be able to speak to people who love fishing, and it's been kind of a fun journey. I know nothing about fishing, but anyway, my husband fishes all the time. So
yes.
So kayak anglers of Florida, fishing club down here in Florida. One of them is friends with my husband for a long, long time, and they were catching up, and he kind of mentioned to him like, "Hey, what's going on in your world?" And when Marcial told him a little bit about what's happening with our daughters, they took full reins of it, and they, without even discussing it, they just threw together an entire tournament, which is, it's national and it's virtual, so it's all across the country. And they threw together this benefit tournament to help us with, there's a lot of medical bills that are coming, and I'll explain that in a second, but a benefit just to help us with our daughter's medical bills, and also just to get the word out about her story. She's got kind of a unique story. So they took full reins of it and threw together this tournament, and he'll tell you more about the tournament. But basically, Amelia she's 18 months now, and she's amazing. She's our joy and our light. She's the youngest of our 4 kids. We have 4. And so Amelia was born with growth restrictions. She was only 3 pounds 3 ounces. She went straight into the NICU when she was born, and she had some abnormal liver labs when she was born. So they were trying to rule out what they call biliary atresia, and it's a rare diagnosis, but they were able to rule that out, and they sent her to Miami. And so we spent 2.5 months in Miami in the NICU with her when she was first born, and she stabilized. She was able to come home over Christmas and meet her siblings for the first time. This is all during COVID pandemic, so they never got to meet her or anything. And she got to come home and meet her siblings for the first time, and then she went into acute liver failure. And she was immediately transferred back to Miami, and we were sent to Miami Transplant Institute, and they were able to kind of stabilize her. They did a liver biopsy at that time, and the biopsy basically showed some, fibrosis, but nothing too major. And then over the last year, she's really done nothing but stabilize. She's, grown. She's meet milestones and everything, but they've always just kind of kept a close eye on her liver because her liver labs have always been a little bit off, and it looked a little funny on imaging. Anyway, this past December, we went back to our quarterly follow-up at Miami Transplant Institute, and it was there that we saw that she had some new nodules on her liver. And our physician at the time, Dr. Milo, he actually recommended that we go ahead and repeat the biopsy just to see what's going on with her liver. And we did that in February of this year, and she is in end-stage liver disease. So she has cirrhosis. And we were told that, we're not exactly sure why this is happening, but we know where this is going. So you guys need to start preparing for transplant, and that they anticipate looking for transplant within the year.
Wow. That is a lot to take on.
Well, and aside from that, they don't have a diagnosis for her yet. And that was another point of the outreach. It's not only just to help with the medical bills, but honestly, you just never know who you're going to meet, who has a cousin, who has a babysitter, who has a grandma, who had this liver condition, and did your doctor's test her for this? So, right now we are we just applied to the Undiagnosed Diseases Network. It's a program out of Harvard, and so we're kind of hoping to get some answers from them because we have a team in Pittsburgh that we've established with as a secondary team, and a team in Miami, and they're both stumped as to what the cause of the liver disease is.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Wow. And I'm even still just stuck on the part where she was in the hospital for so long, and
she's basically spent her first 8 months of life, she was in the hospital, in and out with, different things. She came home with a central line after she was in liver failure. She came home with a central line that's called a Broviac. It's a port in her chest. So at that point, I quit my job. I became her full-time caregiver and her nurse.
Right.
I work as a physical therapist, but I quit my full-time job to be her full-time caregiver. She's had a feeding tube. We had a lot of growth issues. She's had therapies, lots of stuff to try to catch her up. So I'll be honest, we were a little bit shocked that her biopsy, was going to show end-stage liver disease. We thought we were kind of growing out of whatever she was, kind of dealing with at birth, but that wasn't what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rich.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to segue the whole thing of why are we on here talking about this when it's a fishing, podcast, but she had mentioned, this took place during the worst part of COVID, and they would only let one parent at a time to appointments. And then when she was in the hospital, one of the hospitals only allowed us there for 3 hours at a time. So we chose to go a different route, went to a different hospital. The long and short of it, though, that is why the whole fishing thing came in, because that's when I couldn't be at the at the appointments. I'm stressed out. I'm working like, you know, my full-time job. I'm driving back and forth to Miami, which is like almost a 2-hour drive. I would take to fishing kind of to unwind from my mental health, obviously.
Right.
And picked up a little cheap kayak because everyone was all of a sudden like a professional outdoorsman during COVID. So I picked up a little kayak, and then that kind of like fast forwarded to, I'm on the lake and down here in South Florida, no one's around for miles. So basically like, I ended up reaching out like, I guess almost a year and a half later to my buddy, Chris, who's a part of the Kayak Anglers for Florida. And I'm asking him his opinion on a particular kayak. And that's kind of how the ball started rolling. He's like, "Oh, how's the baby?" And we started chatting, and she's actually crying, so she's gonna go deal with that. But so then he reached out to these other guys from the Kayak Anglers of Florida. They reached out to their buddy, I'm sure you guys know him, Chad Hoover.
Yep.
And they kind of heard the story, the same story you guys are listening to. And they ended up doing a lot of really cool stuff for me to help me out. Like, you know, they gave me some gear and stuff just to get out there and enjoy my time. And we ended up coming on their podcast, and they kind of dropped this tournament. They're like, "This is what we want to do to help you out." And that's kind of where we're at now. If you guys had any questions, go ahead. Otherwise, I was going to kind of explain what the tournament's about.
Yeah, no. Why don't you explain that? Let me, as you start, I'll pull up in the background the screen.
Okay, perfect.
It takes a moment. This program that I use does not allow multiple screens to be shared, no matter how many monitors I have. So here is the Fishing Chaos page.
Yeah. So you can see that's kind of like the flyer, if you will. Oh, there she is, right there.
The star of the show.
There she is. So you can look at the flyer. They started it a couple of days ago, April 1st, and it goes through May 31st. And they kind of made it like user-friendly, family-friendly, not the greatest fisher-friendly, if you will. So you basically sign up, and it's $50 entry, and all they require is a minimum of 5 fish. And if you go on the website, they make it to where it's the same species. So if you want to pick largemouth, you want to pick smallmouth, you want to pick snakehead, anything in the ocean, there's basically a drop-down box for all those different species. You choose whatever you want, and then all you have to do is catch 5 of those fish between April 1st and the 31st. The one thing where our friends weren't sure about is, you know, I don't know if you guys or anybody who's watching does the regular tournament, you know, the picture tournament, you take a photo.
Yep. CPR.
They have, So they have like, we ended up printing these out. I'll show you guys. It's one of these little cards.
Here, let me focus on you here, if I can get that to work.
There you go. So there you go.
Okay.
So basically that's what you would use for your picture. And then all you need is either a measuring board, or they're accepting like a tape measure. Because like I said, this isn't like some professional tournament. It's for families and friends.
Right.
And you basically take your measurements, and then you take your picture, and then you submit it to the website on there in Fishing Chaos. And then they basically add up the total of your 5 fish, and that's how you get your total length as far as like the placement. But the whole thing is going to be, like I said, it's going to be raffles. There's a bunch of people that are having, they've jumped into it as far as sponsors. We haven't announced it because we're waiting for the final, but a couple of big names in the industry have come up, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Like we have like people who don't even fish, and they're like, well, you know, what can I just go in my backyard and like, you know, catch like a little, I'm like, well, you can catch whatever you want. Just, you know, have fun with, make it, you know, like a neighborhood tournament within your friends, you know, who can catch the most within your neighborhood. And that's pretty much all it is. We miss anything as far as?
I think the whole reason that they did it kind of family friendly too is that it's not intimidating to like non-fishers, and
right.
You know, they could just, it's more about getting her story out. And like I said, you never know, somebody who's going to know somebody who's, hey, did your doctors look into this diagnosis? You just never know. Social media is a powerful tool, and that's why we kind of, you know, put her story out on, you know, Instagram. She's got an Instagram page if anybody wants to follow her journey, and you just never know. I've made so many connections with other families that have gone through pediatric liver transplants, and it's been comforting to know what we're up against, and also, you know, what we're expecting. So.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I don't know if they're on right now, but we have multiple doctors that watch this every week, so you never know. You
that's
never
kind of
know.
like I said, like
Exactly. So you never know who's like, hey, did your doctors look at her for this? And you just, probably because she's been poked and prodded and every single blood test and full genetic screen multiple times and nothing has come up, but you just never know who's watching. So the whole point was just to kind of get her story out and share, what she's been through and have as much support as we can, because it's definitely been a challenge.
Well,
yeah, and it's like the journey's, technically we don't know, maybe just begun really. I don't know if I don't think she mentioned it. She has a team in Miami. She also has a team up in Pittsburgh. So, you got to fly to Pittsburgh, you got to rent a car, you got to stay in a hotel, you got to eat 3 meals. So that's kind of why they wanted to help financially. But like she had mentioned, like we've seen like people who like out of left field, like social media reach out. Like I have a friend who I've met that he's a retired like Marlins pitcher, for example, like from
how can I
baseball.
help? How can we help?
And then
Been great.
just like radio, like local radio TV hosts, they spoke to them about it, and there's got to be like someone out there who like has an answer. Like this, she can't be like the mystery baby. Like we're just a regular couple from South Florida, like with kids, and all of a sudden we're like here we are, like in this crazy like story.
right.
So
Yeah. Life just throws stuff at you. Just regular people with
Yeah.
tough things to get through. I'll tell you what. Once she's through all this, though, she's gonna have a heck of a story. She probably won't remember any of it, but
Yeah.
I will.
you will. Yeah, you're never gonna forget it. You're never gonna forget it. No.
Yeah, but like I said, I appreciate you guys having us on. Like like I told, I spoke to Rich earlier. Is, we're like just regular people, so we reach out for contacts, and a lot of people, unfortunately, in the world we live in, they're like, oh, this is a scam, this is a spam, they just want money. And like I said, we're just regular, ordinary people just reaching out for help, and this is kind of where we're at. We didn't expect to do a fishing tournament. They did it for us, and we were so blessed that they did. But we're just kind of running with it, and I'm just using it as an excuse to fish more. I tell my wife I got to keep up, even though I didn't enter. I got to keep up with the fishing, the length, and got to weigh my fish. we went out the other day to my local pond, and Amelia was out there with us running around, and she wasn't having it. Every time I brought the fish close to her, she was like, "Nope, I'm good."
Is your guest here? Because I have a funny story for you. Is he here?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so when I was pregnant with Amelia, like I said, she was growth restricted, so she was itty bitty in the womb. And every time I'd be laying there with a big old belly, I'm like, babe, put your hand on my belly. And he'd like put his hand on it, and of course she'd stop moving and swim away. And he'd be like, she's such a little bass. Like she's always like swimming away from me and swimming away.
Yeah.
And then, a couple months later, she's born or whatever, and all the kids always want to go pick out a Christmas ornament every year for the tree. And so I was pregnant with Amelia. We're getting ready to pick out the Christmas ornament. Or no, she was in the NICU then, I think. And because we used to call her the little bass, they picked out a little glass bass fishing like ornament for her for the tree. So she's like literally been a bass since she was in the womb.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now we really have kind of led that part of the story.
Yes, for anybody who's watching and just reach out to us if they have some connection. We use her Instagram as kind of like a central location, if you will.
Yeah.
To reach out and send messages, but her whole story is there from birth till now. Like my wife's done a really good job of documenting it, just so people can see it, but also for the story, because we don't know like what the plan is. We put our faith in God, and we're hoping that this is part of His plan to show like the bigger picture. So,
yeah, and I'll tell you. So everybody, it's on the screen right now. If do you want to give the addresses where they can find you on Facebook as well? I don't have that handy to pull up right now.
It's Amelia's Special Liver, all like 3 words on Facebook, but pretty much everything I put on Instagram, you can link them. So the information pretty much same between Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, great. So
Bill put a question in the chat.
Yep.
For those of us that can't fish, is there PayPal or GoFundMe or something that
there is? Yeah, so we actually have an amazing foundation down here that's been helping us. It's called Bella's Angels, and the premise behind Bella's Angels is that they assist families like us that kind of, we make too much to qualify for any kind of government assistance, but we don't make enough that this isn't going to cripple you financially. So it's a foundation that helps people in our situation, and so they have set up a private link, and there's like a secure link. So Rich, I can give it to you if you want to post it or whatever.
Yeah, if you would
on
email
I
the,
that.
appreciate that, Bill. Thank you so much.
On the Fishing Chaos, like to sign up for the tournament, there's also a drop-down box for donation only if they want to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think you get some of those.
$50 to enter if you want to fish. If not, you can donate, or you can go to the Bella's Angels. It's very secure. You can even check them out there. They've been so awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to email to me the link, I'll put that in the description below this tomorrow. Unfortunately, with the live stream, it takes a while to process before the changes go through, especially ours. It won't actually, I probably won't be able to make an edit until tomorrow at about 9 a.m. But I'll get it up there for everyone to see. And people will watch this over the next several weeks. So, I'll tell you this, when we do the live stream every week, sometimes work interferes with it, and Ed doesn't want to be a solo host, so we have to move it. But we're going to mention this for every one of them. I want to challenge everybody out there to join, whether you just donate or want to compete. And it would be awesome to see some of the people that watch this channel in there and competing, especially for the flounder, which is going to be opening on the 2nd of May. I'm sure Blackfish is in there, which is open. Striped bass. If you guys want to win, and it's our viewers.
I dropped my headphone.
Oh, she dropped her headphone. The baby grabbed it.
But the striped bass right now in New Jersey is insane right now. I mean, you're talking people are pulling in multiple 45+ inch fish. So stack 5 of those together. I saw a guy I know. He pulled in multiple 45 inch today. That's got to put you somewhere in the mix. So
well, and I don't want to speak to the prizes yet because I know they're trying to get them solidified. But again, I know nothing about fishing, but I saw his eyes like light up when he heard about some of the prizes. So like,
oh yeah,
it must be good. I don't know.
I was like, I'm about to join, but I can't. But I'm about to join anyway.
Well, if I win, we'll turn around and we'll just then raffle them off to somebody else. We'll keep the chain going. We'll keep the chain going.
Out. We'll get you out of that cold weather. Come down here. I'll take you to some of my spots as a thank you.
There you go. And I won't videotape them either, so I won't blow up your spots for you.
Perfect. I don't even tell my coworkers, like, hey, where you catch that? I can't tell you.
No, you can't tell. No, yeah. I try to keep them secret
now. Local spots, and then there's like the secret spots.
Right. Yeah. On my videos, I get a lot of feedback. Yeah, I can tell where you are. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't catch it there.
Yeah.
You have to look at what I said and look at some maps and everything.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to Google Earth everything and try to see where you're at. And
yeah, well, are you mostly saltwater or freshwater?
I do freshwater.
Freshwater.
I keep trying to get him to do saltwater because I'm like, when are you going to bring something home that I can actually cook? Like that would probably excite me more. I think go fishing more often.
Well, I grew up in Miami, and if you guys don't know if you're aware of it, but they introduced the peacock bass down there in the 80s when I was a kid, basically. Yeah. And as a kid, like I didn't know any different. I just thought that was a normal fish. Like, we were like 5-6 year olds, and it was such a great fighting fish. And now it's like a multi-million-dollar industry. I actually have a good friend who he's a bass charter, and he does Everglades, and he does a lot of peacock, the canal system, and he does well for himself. And I was like, that's insane because we were just kids,
Bring it.
Yeah, we'll get you down here, Rich. Shout out to my buddy Drew's Guide Service. He's been a friend of mine since middle school, and that dude's got it wired. So if you have anybody watching who wants to fish peacock, head down here. It's a great fish.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I'm going to be going down to Florida at some point in the next. I was hoping to do it this year. It's either going to be this year or next year. I'm actually going to take a week or two off from work and just jump in the truck by myself and just kayak fish all the way down the coast.
Well, you got my connection now, my email. We'll do it up for sure. But yeah, this place is wild. I was telling Rich before the podcast was there's so many like different species down here. A lot of them being invasive, but like you don't know where you're gonna pull out of the water half the time.
And that's one of the reasons I love salt water. You don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're never quite sure what it's going to be. So
yeah, half of my friends are like, you're an idiot. You're like in South Florida, you don't fish in the ocean. But I just grew up on the ponds and the lakes, and I just love bass fishing so much. We have we have Headwaters Lake down here, which is like probably one of the best in the country, and you get spoiled. So you get on the kayak, and I get away from everybody. I don't see anybody for hours, and that's like my getaway time.
That's his like
Yeah.
introvert coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go fish.
Yeah.
Bye.
I love disappearing on the kayak, but I can't do it anymore because every time I think I'm gone, I turn to the right and there's Ed.
I can't even get you to come out fishing. So what it ain't me.
Well, I fish with a lot of people now. I used to just fish alone all the time, but I know it's nice to just be able to get lost back there. The stress kind of just melts away. So, yeah. So thank you to both of you for coming on. Again, we'll keep in touch. I'm going to keep talking about this as we go forward throughout the live streams through the end of the event and or the tournament. And if anything else comes up, just let me know and we'll do what we can to help out. I mean, look at her. How can you not? How can you
You look like daddy, right?
Yeah, even if you're not going to fish, how can you not just join the tournament anyway, right? And then you get a chance at the raffle prize anyway. So, that's great. Well, all the best to you both. Thank you for coming on.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. All right,
we'll be in touch. Bye.
All right. Wow, that's something to think about. And
Absolutely.
I'm just going to say to the people that are going to be that are either watching now or are going to be watching this after the fact. Let's get some signups. Let's get some entries. Let's get the word out. If you know some captains, I think John is coming on right now. John is the one that knows all the captains. Just get the word out.
No reason.
What's that?
He's not the mayor for no reason.
Exactly. That's why he has the nickname the mayor. I mean, he knows everybody and everybody knows it's actually pretty insane. So John's getting set to come on. Todd is unable to make it tonight, but we're going to go through some other stuff. But I'm going to challenge everyone. Go out there, sign up, follow on Instagram, Amelia's Special Liver, all is one word. And then you can look it up on Facebook as well. And let's see if we can get those numbers boosted. And let's see if we can get somebody that has watched the stream to win or place or at least show. And let's share some of the pictures with each other of the fish that are being entered, so we can kind of keep the awareness going, right, all the way through the end of May and beyond May as well. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, definitely do what we can to support these folks. To get a little personal, I know really a lot of what they're going through. Both my kids had very rare autoimmune diseases or disorders with their blood when they were kids, like babies, and every little bit helps. It's definitely do what you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we can come up with something with our viewers, and we'll just say, okay, out of the people, do the tournament and send your results to us as well. And most people here fish for fluke, so I'll put out free courses. That'll save. I mean, at the very least, you get a free course. Watch it, don't watch it, give it to somebody else, but it'll save you money there, and it's for a good cause. And I'm sure we can talk to some other folks to throw some things in as well. So
I mean, I know a guy that has a tackle shop, so he can make some stuff.
Yeah. So let's bring John on. John, don't worry, we're not going to offer a rod.
Put that away, John. Nobody wants to see that.
Guys, how you doing?
Good.
What's up?
Good to see you, John. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. So John, just so everybody knows, John was supposed to have tonight off, but Todd Grubb was not able to come on. So John's going to jump in. We do have some things that we can talk about. John, I expect to see you competing in this, and at this point, I'm going to say I'm going to buy an entry for me, Ed for you, John for you. The three of us are going to be competing in this, so I'll sign us all up tonight or tomorrow, depending on. I don't know where my wallet is, to be honest with you, but I'll get us all signed up before the start of fluke season. And the only condition is you guys have to enter only flounder. And you each have to get your 5 in there. And the good thing is it's a CPR. So these limits that you can't keep, more than 1 over 18 inches, the regs that John loves so much, it's not going to interfere with this tournament.
Done deal. I'm coming.
You in, John?
both of you.
I guess we're fluking, if that's how we're gonna do it. I mean,
Yeah.
we still got Tog, you know, that's
Yeah, I guess you could do Tog as well. The Tog season is rapidly slipping away from me. I will tell people Mike got on the water today for a few hours before the wind hit him. He was out in his kayak, and he did send to me that he had a couple of keepers, and he felt like he was on his way to, you know, full limit day, but he got chased off the water because it was getting a little unsafe. So the Tog, you know, they're there, and I've seen some big ones. John, have you seen some of the sizes of these inshore Tog this year? I mean, they're bigger than I've seen in the past 2 years.
well, you know what? That's one thing I was going to mention that I'm actually shocked by is cod. Have you seen
know.
how much cod there's been caught this year? And I mean, granted, it's a bycatch, but truly amazing how much cod's caught. But back to what you were saying, the inshore Tog, some of these they're pretty fat. They're little fatties. They're chunkies.
Yeah,
They're catching them off the jetties too, like close, shallow water.
Yeah, I know a couple guys that have caught some nice 21-inch Tog right off the jetties in Barnegat in the summertime. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me, but it's this time of year they're coming in to spawn. So, you know, some of these might actually have some eggs in them themselves. So it might be some of the reason why they look a little bit bigger.
Yeah, Elle had a nice one that she showed on her Instagram. Mike told me he was broken off by one today. Now, if we go back and talk about Tog from a few weeks ago, he does use lighter line.
Yes.
And you know, he's like the anti-John in line weights. But he was broken off, and he was sure it was a really nice Tog. And this is a guy who's, you know, pulls in 14-pound sheep's head, so he knows when there's a nice fish on there. But he wasn't able to boat the one, and then the wind chased him off the water. Striped bass is going insane right now. I'm not going to burn any specific towns or anything like that, but I will say this: I don't know that you can burn anything, because I have literally seen them from Cape May County all the way up through the Raritan, of course, is going insane. I don't know if you guys have gone out in the past week for any. I have not been able. The wind has kept me parked at home. This stupid kayak is still sitting here all ready to go and rigged up, and I can't get out there
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have to work tomorrow.
You got a cold. You're sick.
Yeah. So actually, John sent me a text earlier. We're gonna be taking some days off in early May to take advantage of this early flounder season, and hopefully, you know, the risk is always you burn a day for PTO, and then it's too windy and you can't go. But I'm planning actually at this moment. I think the 2nd is a Monday. So they strategically did it to keep you off that Sunday to, you know. Okay. So I'm thinking about doing that Monday. And then John wants to also do that Thursday, I believe. Or was that Friday? Friday.
How about a Wednesday? Can we throw a Wednesday in there?
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
absolutely can.
for me, it's hard to do the middle of the weekday because that would really have to have me take 2 days off.
Yeah, you're what, third shift?
Yeah, so it's a little difficult. That's why our times never line up, Ed.
Well, my time can line up with either of the two of you as long as things are looking good condition wise. Otherwise, I'm not going to burn the day. I'd rather just take a week in the summer than at that point or in the fall.
Yeah.
Spring is just so difficult. Ella's mentioning all of her togs she's catching on the soft baits, sandworms. So it goes back to what you were saying, John, your theory. It's got to be the soft baits and the clams and everything early in the season, and it looks like it's paying off for people. I went the one day before the wind really kicked up, and I was getting bites. I lost one. I caught one, but it wasn't. Maybe it was 15. It was, but it didn't have any thickness to it. It wasn't worth measuring. I wasn't going to keep it anyway, so I threw it back. But that was it. But man, the bites were not. They weren't committing to those bites at all, And I wish I had had some clam.
And that's why I say go back to the softer baits, the frozen and peeled cooked shrimp, the clams. The sandworms. I have never used them before, but I've heard great success about it. So those softer baits this time of year, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I don't know, John, do you have any topic you want to go over tonight? Because if not, we'll cut this early for everyone and just apologize that Todd was not able to make it on tonight. We're going to have still a podcast coming out this week. It obviously won't be this episode just because it's not, it's not going to be a full episode interview or anything, but we do have plenty of content in the queue that we can put in for days like this to cover for, so we'll have a full podcast coming out Thursday morning. John, any topics you want to talk about?
There's nothing really I have to cover right now, unless you guys have anything you want to talk about.
No,
you got a new addition to the fleet.
Yeah.
I mean, so I picked up the Salty on Friday with my buddy Tad. That kayak is going to be for when the wife wants to come out to the saltwater because she has a paddle kayak. It's not the greatest thing to be using in the bay. So decided to get to sit on top pedal kayak for her. When she isn't using it, I could take a family member, friend out, whatever, So looking forward to that. It's already rigged, ready to go. And then, of course, I tweaked my back on Monday. So
of course,
I don't know if I'm going to be able to use that Friday, and I'm hoping I can even fish on Saturday. I don't even know if that's going to be possible at this point. So
yeah,
we'll
don't kill yourself now. Kill yourself the next week.
Yeah, it's TOG season.
How long is TOG season?
31st or 30th, whatever. How many ever days there are in April? We only have that short window, and then we're shut down again. So
that's my point. I mean, so don't kill yourself this weekend. Save yourself so you're actually able to make it through the next week and at least finish out the season. And hopefully these winds get knocked down a little bit because this is absolute insanity. Even the sod bank guys are like, this is just terrible.
Yeah, for April, I've never seen it this bad.
Now, last April at this time, I was in Raritan Bay, solo catching 40+ inch striped bass and 36 inch bluefish. And this year, no, it's not even worth it. I mean, I went out twice, caught one TOG and that was it. Well, only once during TOG season though.
Yeah. I'm looking at the wind forecast. Tomorrow, Friday morning, and Sunday afternoon are like the only ones that look fishable.
You have Saturday morning. You have a window there, but it's like from 7 to 12, and that's when I plan to go down.
Yeah, I might join you. We'll see. We got Easter this weekend, which is always a challenge.
Saturday's looking like 15, 16.
I could deal with that. It's when you start getting to 20, 25. That's
he's talking off the rocks, Ed.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. No,
I'm not going in the kayak.
10's about my limit in the kayak.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
We're talking rock hopping potentially. Now, I do want to mention that there is that LBI tournament coming out, the American Angler one. Are you guys going to be doing that? Well, if anyone's interested, look that up. You can go to the LBI fishing page with Bayside Dave, and the details are on there. But it's a fun little tournament, just beach fishing, and there's 2 teams. It's really just Bayside Dave's team versus American Anglers, I believe. So that could be fun. And I'll tell you right now, it's a good time to be hitting the surf because those striped bass are there, and they're getting bigger. I saw multiple 40+ pulled out of the surf today. So. That's something to look at if you want to get into the tournaments. But I guess we could just kind of wrap it up this way and say, guys, check out the Amelia's Anglers and sign up for that. And the 3 of us are going to end up competing in that. And just have fun, whether you enter a fish or not. It's just something that I think would be good for this entire group to participate in. Whether you're watching, whether you're you watch all the time, every once in a while, it would just be awesome to have some people out there. And if you do, send some of your picks to us so that we can share them and continue to show people these are the fish that are being entered. And then you can look at it and say, well, I have bigger fish than that. And then you can start entering and perhaps get into there for the wins in the different categories. So I imagine there's just a ton of different categories. I have to go and look at the species, but it's worth it. I think it's going to be it's going to be one of those tournaments that you really like to do. You know, we had talked about tournaments for Fat Dad Fishing this year, and we've all said if it's charity tournament, we're going to do everything we can. The regular tournaments, maybe we'll do them, maybe we won't. I think there's one that we're doing this year that's not a charity tournament at this point, but this is definitely one worth doing. So with that, we're gonna jump off of here. Again, sorry about the change in plans for tonight, but we are going to come back next week. It's next week, Frank Mihalik?
I think so.
Frank Mihalik coming on next week. He will be here, and we are going to be talking spring fishing. We are going to talk about tog. We are going to talk about flounder. We're going to talk about every species that you need to target in the spring in the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast. So, guys, you definitely want to be here for that one. I'm really looking forward to that one. I talked to him once at the show, and he is just a really interesting guy. So Frank's going to be on next week. Really looking forward to that. We're going to be back on our normal time Monday night at 8:00. So until then, everyone get out on the water, get some fish, get some tight lines. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.